Right off the bat, when most people think about diversity in an organization, they think about the aesthetic and the look to every individual and how different they are in each aspect to ensure that there is a diverse population and different views collaborating together, such as the basic race, ethnic, gender, sex, nationality, physical ability, and mental ability. These for me are the general ones I typically think about when I hear an organization calling themselves inclusive or diverse. Deep down though, I also look for different people, like at a different person's skills and their abilities and what they can add into a diverse culture, such as the organization Freedom Connection. I think of age when I'm talking to a person, so I'm consciously aware of what slang terms I'm using, and so I know which audience I'm talking to, especially vocabulary, such as the same goes for my boyfriend as well. I have to use different vocabulary when I'm around him because he is not that smart of a person. But for Freedom Connection, just last night while we were having our fair trade cook-off, I was looking around and paying attention to conversations. We started talking about different Asian ethnicities, since my friend Katie is Vietnamese and one of our members is Korean, but they are both also half white. So they were talking with my friend Keely as well, who also pointed out that she's half Mexican but also half white. And now each of them does not really look full, especially Keely. She looks like she is white as a ghost. But just all the assumptions based on looks and noticing how diverse we really are deep down, and that was just a few of the people in the organization. Some of the members could not believe that I was 25 when they thought that my friend and treasurer Colin was 23 when he's only 19, and they thought that I was 20. Only because I don't act my age most of the time when I'm with my members, especially since our organization is around a very grim subject. I like to keep things light and happy, and I try to joke around a little bit more. If I was asked this question 2 weeks ago, I would tell you only a vague idea of what I could think of, but with recent events just last week and last time within my organization, I can confidently say that everything resonated with me because that is what I ultimately worked towards last night. However, in vain it might have been, since the main person was not there who the issues were concerning about. Everything for what makes an organization culturally competent, how an organization needs to be culturally competent when there's a problem or a crisis, and how they need to have a shared vision and desired outcome. Also, how an organization, to be culturally competent, the potential leaders have to be collaborating and need to be identified of what the different cultural groups are, so that the organization knows what needs to be done before and how it affects everyone involved. Especially since we also need to be open more and to adapt to everyone's specific needs. Also on how to create a culturally competent organization, especially since last week the issue was that there was just, the communication was just lacking, and everything was falling onto me to take care of everything, plan everything, be there on time for the members, organize everything, set up the timing for everything, buying supplies we needed was all on me when we have 4 other members. So it was just a lot, and then almost none of my board members were not going to come. One had a doctor appointment, one didn't have a car, one didn't want to come because she just didn't want to, she wanted to study instead. And my treasurer got into some legal trouble, so he had his dad come down, and it was very unexpected. I understood a lot of those, but when the one girl wanted to just personal things without thinking about the organization, it struck a chord with me, especially since she's been doing that for a while. Because we each need to understand how our backgrounds affect each other, and she's not very vocal about that. She only talks to me, and she doesn't talk to the group, so the group doesn't understand what's going on with her. especially also just making sure that we all share the same beliefs and practices. We're working on that last night. We're acknowledging how past experiences affect present interactions. All the past experiences with my secretary throughout the organization have been negative, along with a lot of other people's. And we need to figure out a way how to get past that or make it better. And I'm trying to build on the strengths of each member, so then that way we can grow as an organization instead of falling behind. And I'm very willing, in regards to sharing power amongst leaders of different backgrounds, I try to make sure it's a very inclusive environment so that the members are also leading, not just me, especially other board members. I'm also going to attach a docket of what we went over and the verbiage and wording of everything that was on there, so you can find that attached to the link or on the side, whichever side it's on. For me personally, what it means to lead for the greater good means leading in a way that or leading an organization or in a way that you're impacting something more than yourself, more than just the members. You're impacting your community in a way that can leave a resonating change. The one that, even though you can't see it in the short term, you'll eventually see it in the long term. Leading for the greater good can be challenging, especially when many people want to see something here in the here and now and have an impact directly happening. It's hard to bring those people down a little bit to tell them it's okay, patience, especially since we're in such a fast-going society now. But I think leading for the greater good is something that ultimately can be very fulfilling depending on who you are and what your cause is.